Hello, it's halfway to Halloween. Well, that's what I heard anyway from my friend Polly, who has tagged me in the halfway to Halloween little questionnaire. So I thought that would be kind of fun to do. And it might be a fun way for me to show off some of my little spooky creations. So here you'll notice my little skeleton here. This skeleton was given to me by a friend who found it with no head, and it was like a quarter or something, and she gave it to me and she said, look, I found this, that has no head, but I knew you could do something with it. And so I stuck a mushroom on his head, and so he's very dirty. He's been here many years. This little guy's been with me. Anyway, he holds a rock that was hand painted, cliff rocks, that says love. And okay, now he's not staying there. There he goes. And another little tiny rock my wee painted. And so there he is. He's numbing out. So let me answer these questions. So the first question was, are you a fan of haunted houses? Not those kind that you have to walk through. No, I do not like those kind. I don't like being scared. It makes me want to punch people. So they're not a good place for me to go. If you startle me, I would jump back. I'm one of those people that will beat the snot out of you just for scaring me. Shame on you. So no, I'm not. But the idea of a haunted house, yeah, I kind of find that fun. And so I think that's neat. We actually joke in our house that it's haunted. We have Charlie, our ghost. There's lots. When I was a kid, everything was named Charlie. So there were a lot of things named Charlie. You know, the Charlie plant. It was just Charlie the plant. So my ghost in our house is Charlie. And so anytime anything really weird happens or something goes missing or things like that, we blame it on Charlie. And we say, Charlie, are you being sneaky again? One of the coolest things that Charlie did was, Charlie is also the name of my oldest little doll. I've had him forever. He hangs out in my wee's room now. She wanted Charlie to come in there with her, so he's up on it. He's safe. Anyway, no, wait, is Charlie back in here? Charlie might be back in here. We had a VCR that was doing something really weird, and it kept opening and closing. The drawer did. We thought that was Charlie. We said Charlie's doing that. So, yeah, I think the idea of something, somebody from the past coming back and maybe communicating with us, I think that's kind of a neat concept. I don't think that it happens, but I do think it's neat. Okay, number 2. So there is, my next little project here, it won a 3rd place at the state fair. It's a magnet. It's one of my little spider magnets. I really love spiders, and I think they're cool. So I make these. I've given them to lots of my friends, and I entered one in the state fair. There's this, and they're adorable. So this is the one that won at the state fair. So he's hanging out there. And I have a couple more, as you can see here. Oh, you know what I can do now? Hang on. We'll bring it down. There we go. Here's some more spiders. You can see them. They're so cute. Magnets. So I just like to do that. So if you go visit my friends' homes, they'll have one of those in their house. And I've even made them in other colors. This one's purple. It's a really cool purple too. And these, can make their legs shorter. They can be like little ticks. Maybe that's what I'll do. Make their legs shorter and call them ticks. Oh my God, now I have to do that. That's a great idea. I don't like them. I don't like ticks. But I do think spiders are adorable. There's a little brown one. And I do like them. And when I was going through, as a crafter, how we go through things. When I was going through my photography phase, I just took hundreds and hundreds of pictures of spiders. I just thought spiders were neat, and I'd go on nature walks and take pictures of spiders on the webs. So there's, oh, I should have left them out. Okay, here we go. So you can look at the spiders while I answer the next question. Okay, so what is my favorite ghost story or haunted lore? I actually really like the idea of Houdini's ghost. I think there's a movie. That's not what I'm talking about. So I like magic, and Houdini was a magician. I think most people know that. And he died on Halloween, and he had agreed to a secret message he would get to his wife if there was such a thing as ghosts. And he was always very curious about the afterlife and seances and stuff. He was around that time period in our past. Well, his wife held lots of seances for several years to try to connect with Houdini and never did. And so I think that's probably my favorite ghost story, just because, you know, it's an interesting one. Okay, another thing I have. Okay, so I've crocheted skulls. These are just some extras. This one actually will glow in the dark. It's just hanging out. I haven't done anything with it. These are ones I've just made one day when I was making skulls. I haven't used them yet. There would have been a lot more in here if you used them. There's a tiny one. And then there's a little rainbow skull. That one's cool. So they'll go in a project someday. But I do use them to make, like, coasters and things. So this is a set of coasters that I made. See the skull in the middle? And then there's the orange ones, too. I think they're very pretty. I like them. So the next question is, do I plan on Halloween decor this year? Or hunting for Halloween decor this year? I don't know. The only decor that we do is spiders. So for several years now, over maybe 2 decades. I mean, it's been a long time. I'd say probably around 2 decades. I decorate my porch, the front of my house, like there's just covered in spiders. So it has giant spiders. We have a big inflatable spider and the big furry fuzzy spiders and lots of spider webs. And I make it look like my house is being infested by spiders. So I don't typically go hunting for anything because, you know, when you find a good deal, I just buy a bunch of spiders. Now, this last year, we do have a few spiders that are legless. Their legs have come off and they're unable to be, you know, glued and all of the other things that I've tried to fix them. So I think they finally have bit the bullet. So maybe this year I might need to go out and try to find some spiders. We'll see. You know, maybe we'll change it up. Maybe we will want to do something different. We do have, a friend of mine gave me a couple of those, the light showers that put lights on your house that sit up in your yard, and they like put these images, like a little, it's a thingy that goes in your yard and it puts things on your house. Oh, we'll put that up too. So we might have ghosts or pumpkins or something flying across our house. There's not a spider one, or it would have that, but anyway. Okay, so there's that question. I think I answered that one. We're spiders. I like spiders, as you can tell. Speaking of spiders, I have more spiders. Here's a bigger spider that I made. I made this one because I have a little Miss Muffet, and I made a spider to go with her. So he's actually hangs on my wall, but I took him down right now to show him. So he's cute. I didn't put eyes or anything on him. He's just some, you know, leftover yarn. Well, I thought he was really cute. I didn't have to make a spider, so there he is. And, oh, I don't know, did I show you this spider? This spider. This is the one that's so cool color. Look how bright that is. That one's just like purple. But it's kind of a, you know, it's a pretty color. And then this one's like, what? And I gave that one blue eyes. I love it. Okay. Then I made this little spider that hangs on my wall. I know he kind of looks like an octopus, but he's not. He's a tiny spider. And he's hanging on this web here. I was practicing. This was my early days. This is kind of old, but I still like it, so I have it hanging on my wall. I took it down to share with you. And I do mandalas, so I have, a really big one. So the next question is candy corn. Do you love it or do I hate it? I actually like candy corn. I like any of that stuff. My favorite is the Harvest Mix that has like the candy corns that have like the brown rear ends and they have like pumpkins in them and other yummy things. You know what I really miss? They were similar to that, but they were not candy corns. They were similar, and they came in like almost would have like the look of maybe a fruit snack, but they were a little bit bigger, and they were candy. And they used to have them in Easter, and they were more like embossed as opposed to a shape. Does anybody remember those? I'm not sure if I'm describing them correctly, but I did like those. Let's see. Am I big into costumes and dressing up for Halloween? I'm big into costumes, but not so much dressing up. When I was younger, yes. But not so much in quite a few years. I'll say that I like sewing. I used to do sewing. It's kind of uncomfortable for me to do now, but there was a time that I was sewing. And in school, I helped out with some of our plays and things and sewed costumes and stuff. So I do like costumes. And I like to see the costumes on shows and television and movies and stuff. I really love period things, and I love the costumes and the set. I always found that to be the more interesting of theater as opposed to acting. I liked all that kind of stuff. These are some magnets. I did not make these. I bought these many, many decades ago from someone on the cowboy days, the Wild West days of Etsy. And she would just make me up. I would say, can you make me some little tiny crochet things? I would place this really big order with her. And these are some of my favorites that I kept that survived. I've turned them into magnets. But anyway, and so I've kept them because I think they're cool. So I have quite a few pieces of her work. I don't even remember her now. It was so long ago. I think Etsy was Etsy's been 20 years. I don't even know. I think I signed up for Etsy the second year or third year that it was there, maybe something like that. It's really early on. Maybe it was the second. Anyway, these were some of her pieces. Aren't those gorgeous? Look at Frankie. She did such an amazing job. She blew my mind. I didn't know how to crochet back then. I became obsessed and wanted to learn because of this lady that would make these things. She lived in Canada, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, she was cool. Okay. The next, I turned them into magnets. That's what you're hearing. They are on my ironing board. I have a vintage ironing board that I hung on the back of my door so I can hang my little things on magnets because that way I can see them every day. So I have a lot of different magnets where I just stuff because I think I want to look at them. Let me see. The next question says, what's an activity or an experience that's on your spooky list this season? Well, we always take trick-or-treating. And typically in town, our town has stuff, a trunk or treat. We have two churches that kind of emerge together, and they will they'll have a trunk or treat there, and so you can kind of go around and the kids are circled in. So that's really nice. And then we go trick or treating in a couple neighborhoods, and whatever. Typically, we're out in the boonies, so you can't even see our house from the road. So anything I do to my house, including decorating, I'm the only one that is going to see it, just for us. And but that's probably the activity we'll do, just a trick-or-treating. Let me show you something else I made. So this is a doily. I love this lady. I'll link. I'll try to remember to put a link to this lady's channel. But she offers, you can purchase her patterns, which at this point I probably should do because I really do love her patterns. But these were a couple that she offered free on her website, or on her YouTube channel. And I took her up on the offer, and I think they came out really pretty. Here's like the skulls. Aren't those gorgeous? Yeah, I'll have to save my pennies because I'd love to have that pattern saved to make again. And so that's my one here. I've made a few of this pattern. Like I said, I think it's really pretty. It's really kind of difficult to even tell that it's skulls. And so that's another reason why I really like it, because especially if it's in a variegated color, the skulls almost disappear. And so you have this kind of hidden spookiness to the doily. So I love that. And it looks like a star. It's very pretty. It's a very beautiful doily. So I love it. I've made a few of those. Okay, the next question. What book, series, or movie screams Halloween to me? I probably would say straight out the gate, that's going to be Snoopy. The Peanuts, what is it? The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I think that just kind of, that makes me want to get out my pumpkin spice candles and, simmer some apple cider on the stove or something. So, I would say that's probably the main one that makes me think Halloween, my next one. This one won me a first place in last year's state fair. This is another one by that same lady. Look how beautiful it is. So I'll leave this one here, but you can look at it. Well, we'll leave it like this while I'm talking, and then I'll turn it, and I'll tell you something about it when I go to the next question. So the next question is, how do you typically spend your Halloween night? We go trick-or-treating. We come home. We dump out all the candy. All the good stuff gets, squirreled away, and whatever's left, gets swapped around. Everybody kind of. My wee is not a super sweet candy person, and neither was I as a kid, so it's not that weird. And so she's very good at sharing, and you get so much, that it's easy enough to do. So typically we'll sit around and we'll try to, plus we have some anyway. We've always, we'll always buy some for ourselves. So we'll kind of swap candy. And I think that's always kind of fun for some giggles and, trying flavors and, ooh, I don't like that, and stuff like that. So that's always fun. And we might play a board game, a family game. That's something that we would do as well. Just depends on the night, if it's on a, work night or weekend. So when I made this is actually, I've made three of these. I sent one to my dear friend Charming for his son, and I think he really liked it, so that was rad. And I did his in kind of a copper color, a champagne color edging here, and so it made it look like they were almost like rivets from being nailed shut. And I don't think, I did put the edging on it, but I didn't put the lace on his. So the original pattern did not call for this right here. This I added. it was an after effect. And so for this one, I did the pale pink with the black. I did the, you know, the body in the kind of a flesh tone or a bone color, and pun intended. And then I thought it made me think of like in a casket, because that's the style there. There's that ruffle that goes around the edge of the casket. So I took her pattern and I added that. So all I did was, I think these are, looks like single crochet chain one, single crochet chain one, just to give it that kind of ruffled look there. So, and I love the way it did achieve that to me. So I entered it in the fair and I won first place. Or a first place ribbon, because everyone wins. I mean, it's not like a 1, 2, 3. It's each piece is voted or is judged individually. So if it's good enough to place, it will win a prize by itself, first, second, or third. So every piece is individual. You're not compared to anyone else until they do the overall, and then they'll take all of their first place winners from that category, and then they pick their favorite. And I won one of those. And then so that's for your category. And then there's, crochet. Then so I won it's not this one. I only won first place here, but I did win last year. Overall, I won 3 ribbons. So I won a first place for the item. Then I won a favorite in that category of crochet. And then I won a favorite in all needle arts. That's the big one. They liked it as all the needle arts. And so I've got to up my ante this year. No, got a couple ideas. But I was excited this one won. I think it's really pretty. And it sits right here on top of my sewing machine. I blubbered about that. Okay, next question. What does Halloween mean to you? Not really anything. When I was a kid, I wasn't even allowed to celebrate Halloween. I couldn't go to school if it was on the day of Halloween because the schools would have parties. And I didn't go trick-or-treating, and we didn't pass out candy. So I actually have no connection to Halloween whatsoever. I just wasn't ever allowed to participate in it. But I think it's fun. I don't have a problem with it, but I never became super obsessed with it once I could do it, but then I don't have a problem with it either. I'm very neutral about Halloween. I think it's fun. I like the candy. I like decorating a little. I like trick-or-treating and making costumes for Wee, or getting her costume. I love all of that stuff. So I would say, it just means, kind of a fun excuse to celebrate something and eat candy. And so that is, I know that Polly had said we could tag a friend, but I'm still making friends, and so I'm probably not going to tag anyone. If you think this sounds fun and you're watching and you've stuck with me all this time, consider yourself tagged. You're it. And I have one more thing. I knew I had one more. So here, this actually hangs right here on my light, but I took it down to show you because it's the only one with a string. Another thing that I like to make are these teeny tiny spiders. So as you saw on that one, so it's not gonna, the light, I'm afraid I'm losing. So it's probably not gonna be as clear. Let me see. No, that's a bummer. Anyway, they look scary in there, but they're not. They're so cute. They're stinking adorable. They're the tiniest little spiders you've ever seen. I'm trying to see if we can get it. Bummer. Here. Let's try this. Anyway, they have their little legs. That's his face. There's his little eyes, and then he's got a little red bead on her butt. Oh my gosh, they tickle me. tickle me, and so I make them, and I just make a bunch, and then I stick them on stuff, and then I make a bunch more. So get ready, because spider season's coming. That's the thing I do at Halloween. It makes me want to make spiders. And so these are all I have left. Well, this one hangs up. That one doesn't count. That one's mine. So I just had these 4 left that didn't find homes last year. Actually, these never even got eyes. So I don't have the beads on them. So I'll have to do them up, and then I'll have to make some more of them. And I'll send them out in Happy Mails because they're so cute. They fit in an envelope. Well, you got to have one. Aren't they precious? Thank you, Polly, for tagging me, and thanks for letting me show off some of my fun creations that I make and share a little bit about myself. I hope everyone has a fantastic halfway to Halloween month, and yeah, that's it. I'll see you in a chat or a comment section somewhere. Goodbye.